I decided that I'm gonna make a fun fiction book club for the channel. And I decided this after the last few experiences that I had with book clubs in my area, mostly from meetup groups that I went to, which were quite a disappointment. Because I was thinking that I was going to read fun books when I went to these meetups. And at the end, the books were, like pure dramas, soap operas, and they didn't even have a good ending. So, it was a huge disappointment. I felt like I wasted my time at those book clubs, and I am someone that loves writing and reading. So imagine the way other young people will feel if they go there, or if they're not big readers. Because if you're a big reader, you read anything, because you just like reading, even if the book is not that great. Which is not my case, by the way. I only read any book that is in the academic realm for learning something, but when I go to entertainment, reading fiction books to entertain myself, I only try to read books that I know that are going to have a good story. If I know the story is going to be terrible, I stay away from that. And I have always been like that. For video games I've been like that, for books I've been like that, for movies I've been like that. It's really hard to find a movie that really leaves me pleased. Like, even in anime series. In anime series, I think the only one that really left me completely satisfied by the end was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I can find things that I didn't like about almost all the others. Even the big ones, even Naruto and all the big popular anime series I watched. But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood really delivered. In books, it's the same. The classics that language art teachers give you to read in class, because they are classics from literature, they were not fun. I remember I read most of them when I was in high school. And if you ask me what happened in those stories, what happened in those books, I forgot. I don't remember. Because, for me to stay engaged with reading and also with writing, it has to be engaging. It has to be interesting. There has to be something there that I want to know. There has to be some character there that I am invested in, and I care about that character, and I want to know what's going to happen to them. Not only because I like the character and the character is interesting, but because also the story that they are in is interesting. So I went to these book clubs thinking that I was going to find something like that, and it was a disaster. I pretty much had to force myself to read the books. And if I thought about it, I thought a lot about it. If I have to do that, and I am a writer and someone that likes reading, imagine the people that don't like reading. If they experience that, if that is the first experience that they have with reading for entertainment, they are going to go away running, and they won't want to read ever again. They will just play video games or watch movies or do any of the thousands of things that you can do to entertain yourself nowadays. Just surf the internet, whatever. But they will not sit down to read another book. If they go to these book clubs and they realize that the books that are being read there are not engaging, are really boring, are big, huge dramas, as if we didn't have enough drama in actual real life. So you have to, make your life more dramatic with books that are also super dramatic. No. I know there are some people that love it. I am not one of those people. I don't like stories. There's drama in all stories, even my stories, but I don't like stories that are centered on the drama only. There's nothing else than the drama. And at the end, they have a bad ending. It's like they want to smack you in the head with a hammer. Like, here, take it because you don't have enough of your own life. Take it. So I felt that way. And I read the books for those groups because I wanted to go there, and I wanted to, basically discuss good books with other people that like the same kind of books and that are there for the same thing. And it was pretty disappointing. like most of the people at the book club, they could be my mother. Yeah, I say, I mean, it makes me laugh, but it's the truth. They could be my mother. And they were reading books that would, I don't know, that would put me to sleep, basically. So I was thinking, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that because that's going to turn people off from reading. It's not gonna show people that reading can be even better than playing the best video game, or better than even doing other fun activities. But obviously the reading has to be good for that. It has to be engaging, it has to be an interesting story, it has to awaken feelings in you that you probably wouldn't get unless you're on a fantastic vacation or something like that. But there are many books that can do that if they are good. Especially, I'm really picky with this, with stories, and if I like a story, it's practically guaranteed that it's good. Because I am very picky. I'm always looking for things to find that are like, you know, mistakes. So when I don't find mistakes and I am engaged from beginning to end, it's certain that the story is great. So yeah, I know I can't keep talking here and make this video 1 hour long. So basically, I just told you the reason why I'm doing this. I want to make a book club, a fiction book club. So we're not gonna be reading textbooks. We're not gonna be reading, you know, self-help books, which are not fiction. And I want to make sure that the books that I pick for this book club, which is just gonna read one book every month, because it's, I don't know about you, but I'm very busy. I probably have time to do anything between the things that I have to write, between the job, between the readings that I have to, things I have to read to learn other things. So readings which are basically not for entertainment. But I always try to at least make some time to put one book there every month, which is just for pure entertainment, which is basically a storybook. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna continue doing that, but instead of doing it by myself and for myself, I'm gonna share it here so that you can also do it for yourself. And then you also have someone to discuss it with. I will discuss the book I read every single month on the 25th. So on the 25th, I will upload one video in the channel, which is for the book club's discussion of this book that I'm reading. So you're gonna have plenty of time, because I'm gonna tell you, right now I'm gonna tell you what's gonna be the book for next month. So the book for next month is gonna be the first book of the Unicorn Chronicles, which is obviously a book of fiction. I think, I haven't read it, so I don't know, but I think it's like fantasy adventure. I like adventure a lot. I think adventure might be, like, there's a tie for me. Adventure and science fiction, those are my favorite genres, and I think that when the adventure is very well written and very interesting, it wins for me. So I will say that adventure is my favorite genre. Number two, very close, almost a tie, when number one is science fiction. So I don't mind fantasy as long as it is an adventure, because it's something that I really enjoy in RPGs, in role-playing games, and in any story. If it has a well-developed adventure, I enjoy it. So I want to do something that doesn't feel overwhelming. That this, like these book clubs that I went to, they gave us, like, every 2 weeks you're reading a thick book, like 400 pages. That's too much. That's too much for people that are busy with their work, or with the classes if you're a college student, or with many other things. And what if you want to do something else? You want to read the book, and you also want to, maybe if you're younger than me, because I don't have time for that anymore, but if you're younger than me, you want to play a video game or do something else, or play a sport, do something else, the reading shouldn't get in the way of doing those other things that we enjoy. So I'm gonna make it just one book per month. I think anyone can read one book per month. That's not too difficult, right? So the first 2 months is gonna be this. Here it has the first two books of the Unicorn Chronicles, which I haven't read it, but I feel like this is gonna be a really good fantasy adventure. Oh, great. Well, so I was interrupted, so I have to continue now. So basically for the next month, which is going to be the first month of this book club, the book is gonna be the first book of the Unicorn Chronicles, which this book right here has the first two books. So it's only the first one, which is gonna be Into the Land of the Unicorns. That's the first book. So I haven't read it, but something tells me that this, it's a saga. It's 4 books. So this is gonna be the first one. The other one is also here because I bought this book that has the first 2. I also bought the third one. I still have to buy the fourth one, which is a little expensive, but I'm gonna buy it because I think that these Unicorn Chronicles, these 4 books, something tells me, and I tend to have good intuition for these things, that this is gonna be a pretty good fantasy adventure with the unicorns, basically. So I think that this is a good pick for, to get this fun fiction book club started. And I know that this is gonna be something that many people are gonna find interesting. Definitely more interesting than the books that I had to read at the book clubs that I went to. That's guaranteed. I haven't even read it, but that's 100% certain. So this is the way it's gonna begin. First book is gonna be Into the Land of the Unicorns. That's gonna be for John of 2018. Okay, so it's Into the Land of the Unicorns. The second one, what a coincidence. I haven't read this, and I open it right there where the second book begins. Is Song of the Wanderer. So that's gonna be for July. So then the 25th of June, I will make the second video for this book club. And the second one is gonna be a discussion. It's gonna have spoilers because it's gonna be a discussion of what? Of Into the Land of the Unicorns, which is the first book of the Unicorn Chronicles. So what I'm gonna do is what I do with every book that I read, basically. I will, during this next month, I will read Into the Land of the Unicorns. If I find anything interesting, that is a good lesson, that is something worth discussing, that is something that I learned from, I will mark it with pencil, and I will come here and talk to you about it. Obviously, anyone that watches that video is someone that hopefully read the book, because it's gonna be spoiler full. Not free, but full. It's basically not a review. What I'm gonna do is not a review. What I'm gonna do is a discussion of the book that you do after you read it. And since I'm pretty sure it's gonna be an interesting book, then it will be an interesting discussion then. And anything that you want to discuss about it, if you read it as well, you can discuss it there in the comments when I post that video. The good thing about doing this in YouTube, this sort of book club discussions and commentaries, is that even if you find out about this later on, like in July, in August, maybe even 1 year later, you still can read the book before you watch the discussion video for the book club. And after you read it, you can go there and you can comment. And you can still get into the discussion even if you read the book much later than all the other people that were also there reading that and discussing that. So this is something that, don't think that if you didn't read this one by the 25th of June, when I do the discussion for that you cannot read that one and discuss it with me anymore. You can do that. You can do that. You just go to the old video and you can leave your comment there or your discussion or what you thought about it. And even if it is months later, I'll get to it and I will say it. So yeah, and I'm gonna keep this idea for this short book club, because we're only reading one book a month, basically one. That's it. The idea is choosing or picking books that are fiction and that are going to be more than likely, most likely interesting. I don't know for sure because I haven't read it. I have no idea what this is going to be about, but I looked at the reviews, I looked at the ratings, I use my intuition, and I get biased that this is going to be a good one. So yeah, I don't know if it ends up being not so great, too bad, but I think it won't be. And I hope it is great, because I'm also thinking about this. I might give it as a gift. There are other people in my family that will surely like reading, and they like unicorns. What girl doesn't like unicorns? And fairy tales and fairies and all that stuff. So if I find that this is really good, I'll give it out as a gift as well. And I will buy another copy for myself, because if it is really good, I'm keeping it in my collection of great stories. Which right now my collection of great stories has more video games than books. But I want to change that. I want to make sure that if there's some great story that is not one of mine, one of the stories that I'm planning and writing and working on, I want to make sure that I also know it. Doesn't matter if it's not mine. So, and I also read it and enjoy it and learn from it. So that's what this book club is going to be about. Basically, I will make the first picks. So I will do the selection for 2018. It's going to be the books that I want to read. But for next year, I will let you give me suggestions, because many of you may have read much more than me. And you may know some that I'm going to enjoy. So after you see what I'm selecting, you'll see what I like. Obviously, you will also get an idea of what I'm going to write. Because I really like these genres, and the books that I select are going to come from those genres, obviously. So yeah, if you have some great recommendation that you can tell me about, let me know about it, and I will put it in the backlog. And eventually I will read it and I will add it here and discuss it. So that's it. So you're gonna see another video in this playlist for the Fun Fiction Book Club by Pedro Cristobal next month, the 25th. And it's going to be, what is it gonna be? Into the Land of the Unicorns, the first book of the Unicorn Chronicles. Which, by the way, I recommend, if you don't have this, I recommend that you buy this book. If you want to read it with me and discuss it with me, this book was cheap. It was, I think I bought it like for $10, and it has the first two books of the Unicorn Chronicles. The third one, I read about it for like $15. The fourth one is expensive. We'll see if, hopefully, it gets a little cheaper at some point, so that you guys and girls can get it and enjoy it, because there's really something that is telling my intuition. My intuition is telling me that the Unicorn Chronicle is going to be good. We'll see. I'm already feeling the, I want to read it. I want to read it already, but these days I'm going to be busy. Most likely this weekend I will begin. Chapters 1 and 2 most likely this weekend. So, and yeah, every weekend I might read something, and then I will do the other work and the other things I have to do, not in the weekend, from Monday to Friday. So that's it. Next entry is gonna be the discussion for book 1, which is Into the Land of the Unicorns. So anything I learn from that book, anything that I find interesting, anything that I like, or that I think that you may have liked, I will add it here. So yeah, that's it. See you next time. Not when, but after I read Into the Land of the Unicorns.